The roar inside Stade Chaban-Delmas told its own story long before the final whistle confirmed Union Bordeaux-Bègles' emphatic 30-15 victory over Stade Toulousain in a gripping Investec Champions Cup quarter-final. On paper, the scoreline suggested a controlled and convincing win. In reality, this was a ferocious, high-stakes encounter that unfolded with layers of intensity, tactical intrigue, and individual brilliance that no simple margin could fully capture. A contest forged in intensity for the opening 30 minutes, neither side yielded an inch. It was rugby played at its most uncompromising, defensive lines flying up, collisions echoing around the packed stadium, and breakdowns contested with a desperation that bordered on reckless bravery. There were no points during that opening stretch, only a sense that something monumental was brewing. Then, almost suddenly, the match ignited. What followed was a whirlwind of drama: 2 driving maul tries, a 20-minute red card, a yellow card shown to one of the sport's greatest players, and a remarkable long-range penalty that shifted momentum decisively. The atmosphere, already electric, surged into something unforgettable as the home supporters sensed that this might be their side's moment. Despite trailing 12-5 at halftime, Bordeaux never looked rattled. Toulouse had edged the first half, even while briefly reduced to 14 men, but the balance of the contest remained precarious. The turning point would arrive not through a single moment, but through a sustained spell of brilliance led by one man, Matthieu Jalibert's masterclass. When the game needed direction, Matthieu Jalibert delivered a performance of rare authority. Entering the match with questions over his fitness, he instead produced a decisive 25-minute spell that completely altered the trajectory of the contest. His influence was subtle at times, devastating at others. A perfectly judged chip and regather resulted in a try that injected belief into Bordeaux's veins. His passing game dismantled Toulouse's aggressive defensive system, freezing defenders just long enough to create space where none seemed to exist. And his tactical kicking pinned Toulouse back, including a booming clearance that forced an error and handed Bordeaux a crucial attacking platform. Jalibert didn't just play well, he controlled the rhythm of the match. Against one of Europe's most structured and experienced sides, he imposed his vision with clarity and composure. A collective triumph at the breakdown before kickoff. Much of the discussion had centered on Toulouse's formidable breakdown duo, François Cross and Jack Willis. The expectation was that they would dominate the contact area and suffocate Bordeaux's attacking ambitions. Instead, Bordeaux rewrote the script. Rather than relying on a couple of specialists, they turned the breakdown into a collective mission. From front row to back line, every player contributed. Jefferson Poirot was exceptional, producing turnover after turnover in a performance that defied positional expectations. Cameron Woki added physicality and intelligence, including a crucial defensive hold-up over the try-line. Even the imposing Ben Tamifiuna made his presence felt with a key turnover at a critical moment. While Toulouse narrowly edged the raw turnover count, Bordeaux's interventions came at decisive moments, under their own posts, inside Toulouse's 22, and during pivotal shifts in momentum. It wasn't just about quantity, it was about timing, and Bordeaux got it exactly right. The Battle of France's finest playmakers. Few matches bring together such an extraordinary collection of talent in the halfbacks. With Maxime Lucu and Jalibert for Bordeaux, and Antoine Dupont alongside Romain Tamac for Toulouse, the stage was set for a fascinating tactical duel. It was Lucu, however, who emerged as the standout, awarded player of the match. Lucu delivered a composed and authoritative display that overshadowed even the brilliance of Dupont. His kicking from hand was precise, his decision-making sharp, and his control of territory vital. The defining moment came with a stunning 52-meter penalty that extended Bordeaux's lead and drained Toulouse's belief. Dupont, typically so influential, found his rhythm disrupted. A yellow card for a cynical infringement proved costly, and although he showed flashes of brilliance, he could not impose himself as he usually does. Tamac contributed with points and composure, while Thomas Ramos offered moments of creativity, but the overall contest tilted decisively in Bordeaux's favor. Jack Willis, brilliance in defeat amid Bordeaux's dominance. One Toulouse player stood almost alone in defiance. Jack Willis delivered a performance of extraordinary quality, one that will be remembered regardless of the result. From his first major intervention, a try-saving tackle that halted a sweeping Bordeaux counterattack, Willis set the tone for his afternoon. He tackled relentlessly, carried with intent, and repeatedly disrupted Bordeaux at the breakdown. His ability to influence every phase of play kept Toulouse competitive long after the tide had turned against them. It was a display that raised inevitable questions about his international future. Performances of this caliber demand recognition, and his absence from the highest level of Test rugby continues to puzzle observers. Discipline, the decisive difference. If Bordeaux's cohesion and execution were key to their success, Toulouse's indiscipline played an equally significant role in their downfall, conceding 11 penalties to Bordeaux's 5. Toulouse repeatedly handed momentum to their opponents. A costly red card for a dangerous challenge and Dupont's yellow card compounded their problems, leaving them short-handed during crucial passages of play. Against lesser opposition, such lapses might have gone unpunished. But Bordeaux, fueled by a partisan crowd and guided by clinical decision-making, capitalized ruthlessly. Every infringement translated into pressure, territory, or points. A match worthy of a final. There was an undeniable sense that this encounter had arrived too early in the competition. Two of Europe's strongest sides, meeting in a quarter-final, produced a spectacle more fitting of a final. Toulouse's path to this stage ultimately cost them. Pool stage defeats forced them into a more difficult route through the knockout rounds, culminating in this daunting trip to Bordeaux. In contrast, Bordeaux's consistency and attacking prowess earned them home advantage, and they made it count. The road ahead. With this victory, Bordeaux advanced to a semi-final clash against Bath Rugby, carrying both momentum and belief. Their blend of physical dominance, tactical intelligence, and individual brilliance makes them formidable contenders for the title. For Toulouse, the defeat prompts reflection. A squad rich in talent and experience now faces questions about discipline, consistency, and execution under pressure. Their European campaign ends earlier than expected, leaving them to regroup and refocus on domestic ambitions. A shifting balance of power. Perhaps the most significant takeaway from this encounter is what it suggests about the evolving hierarchy of French club rugby. Toulouse, long regarded as the benchmark, found themselves outplayed not just in moments, but across key areas of the game. Bordeaux did not simply win, they imposed themselves. They matched Toulouse physically, outthought them tactically, and executed with greater precision when it mattered most. As the final whistle echoed around Stade Chaban-Delmas, it marked more than just the end of a match. It signaled a shift, a reminder that the balance of power is never fixed, and that new contenders can rise to challenge even the most established dynasties. On this evidence, Bordeaux's ambitions extend far beyond a semi-final. With performances of this caliber, they have every reason to believe that the Champions Cup trophy is within reach, and that no opponent, no matter how decorated, is beyond their grasp.